Yay. I was like, I know something's going to happen. It's going to get it together one way or another.
Always.
Let's just wait like 2 seconds more. Whoa. It's not that happened. It's funny. There we go. All right. Let's see. First, just do 1 2 1 2 so we can make sure you're not going to cut it.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yay, that should work. That should definitely work. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode on Beyond the Barbell with your host, Larhana Robinson, IFBB Figure Pro, and Nicole Zenobia Graham, IFBB Figure Pro.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in early this week, as we do have a special somebody coming on today. I do want to make note for anyone who has not entered our last giveaway. It is the Squeeze Me Skinny giveaway. So if you have not entered yet, make sure you do so. We will be choosing the winner this upcoming Sunday. So all you have to do is go to the Squeeze Me Skinny giveaway post and follow all the rules for entry. And let's get right into it. So let us welcome IFBB Figure Pro, 3-time Olympian going on 4-time Olympian, Miss Rhea Gayle.
Hi.
Hi. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Good.
Before we get into, all of your victories and everything, we want to do a little Rhea Gayle history, because we know you didn't turn pro, in the figure division. So tell us a little bit first before we get into figure, how you came about being, a fitness pro, and then what made you transition into the figure division.
Okay, so when I started bodybuilding, figure was always something I wanted to do. And before we had that sort of platform to be able to compete within the NPC, I was doing body fitness, which then, when there was the split and the international athletes were able to join the NPC, there was the amateur Olympia in Spain, which had 2 classes. They had figure and they had fitness. I'd done figure as well, but I also done fitness. I have a background in gymnastics and diving. So we were like, if we can do the crossover, like, why not? Let's give it a try. And then I ended up getting my pro card in fitness and then doing the figure pro show, like, in the evening.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Seriously though, just fangirling. Even though I know you, but I could literally listen to you all day just because of your accent.
Tell us more. Tell us about your diving background.
So I was a late bloomer when I started diving. I started at 16. I was a gymnast before that, so it was kind of easily transferable. And I was diving from 16 to the age of 23, so quite a long time, up until 2016. And that's when I kind of made the switch, stepped away from diving. And it was one of those where I was like, I kind of want to do something, but not have the pressure of thinking, okay, I've got a competition, I need to do this. I wanted it as a journey for like my mental health and myself, and just to give myself a challenge. And my dad also used to be a bodybuilder, so like in the back of my mind, I was like, this could be fun. So, but yeah, here we
the
are.
Apple doesn't fall too far from literally.
Yeah.
Well.
Go ahead. Okay, I wanted to know, how you were talking about in the NPC as an amateur, how, tell us about that, because it's totally different in America. You just pick a local show, you get nationally qualified at a local show, go to nationals, win nationals, and you're a pro. But how is it when you're, out of the country, international? What are the steps?
So, for example, as say a UK athlete or a European athlete, we now have a platform that we can now turn pro. The NPC is expanded. We can compete through 2 bros, which is in the UK, and Finland, France. So they have a range of shows which will do a regional. You compete at a regional, and then you can do a pro qualifier. Or you have a lot of pro qualifiers like the amateur Olympias around Europe. So then you can sort of go to those. Normally it's top 3 will then get their pro card. But we have been given that platform that there is a lot more athletes now in Europe, as you can kind of see from that Olympia list now. A lot more athletes in Europe have been given the chance to be able to compete and join the Pro League, which is awesome.
Wow. I mean, hey, I'm looking forward to it. When we started this, I mean, in the beginning of this, I was just already like, holy crap, have you seen the list? Not only the list, more than the normal, I think, typical 23, but we're definitely, I think we're about to push over 30, and a good majority of these women are international women, which makes this that much cooler because it's the Olympia, it's the Super Bowl, it's the best of the best. You can't just the best of the best if we're only coming from the same country. So this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Right. Why wouldn't you want to go up against the best? I'm like, I wonder I want all of the top athletes from any and everywhere, to be at the Olympics, because you want to be the best in the world, not just that day, but the entire world, period, end. I don't lose because y'all two couldn't show up. Y'all had COVID and then I won because y'all didn't show up. No, I want y'all both to be there so that it can be known that Larhana's the best. I beat all of y'all, come on, bring them all. That's so awesome. So it's through Two Bros that you have to do that. Was it that way whenever you were getting your pro card, or it just recently changed to that?
So that was when, I want to say it was 2017, 2018, when it all came around. We used to compete through a federation called UKBFF, which we was affiliated with the IFBB, and you've obviously got IFBB in Europe and worldwide. Right. So there was that split, and then we had Two Bros, which then gave us that platform and kind of meshed it all together, which was awesome. And since then everyone's been able to get their chance and move forward with it, which is awesome.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about, because we know you're from the UK, but tell everybody a little bit about your transition from the UK to the USA. And I also know that, during 2020, when things hit the fan with COVID, you were also stuck in Australia for a little bit too, weren't you?
Oh my goodness. I've never traveled so much in my life when COVID happened. So I was first of all, I'd done the Arnold's 2020 in Ohio.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later was Arnold's Australia.
Right.
So with that, and obviously that's when COVID just started. So there wasn't an audience at the Arnold's. It was all a little bit different, but it was surely it'll get better in 2 weeks, right?
Right.
So I then from Ohio went home, and because of the journey and the traveling to Australia, I kind of wanted to get there early, and also had family in Melbourne where the show was going to be, so I would stay with them, and that was that. But as soon as I got there, it was then announced that the world is shutting down for 2 weeks, and Australia was we are locking this off. Wow. And then kind of as it started to spread more, flights were cancelled. I couldn't fly from Australia back to the UK or any other kind of way without it costing over £6,000. It was insane. So yeah, I was there for 2 months.
I love how you said 6,000 pounds. We're up here pounds to US. What is that? AFG. Just take my money. I can't. Man, that was tough. How were you able to stay on track? Were you still able to leave and go to the grocery store? Or how did everything work out for you? With working out, all of that.
Yeah, that was training in the garage, and only 1 day trips to get stuff and come back. It was very you can this time to this time. It was almost like a curfew kind of thing.
Oh,
But during that time, I do remember that my mental health was really, really impacted, as I know a lot of people did during COVID. But it was one of those things that when I got back to the UK and there was still some shows around, it was like, do I take the time, or, you know, haven't been able to have a gym, train like the gym's going to be taken away from you the next day, like it sort of was
right.
during when COVID first started. And that's kind of stuck with me since then.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Mm.
no, I completely get it.
Mm-hmm.
That year was a tough year, I think, for a good amount of people. I
Yeah.
mean, trying to find some place to train,
Mm-hmm.
if you were lucky to find a place to train, traveling so far just to get to a place to train.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
And
you were
that
this.
really how much you love the sport, honestly, because some people were completely checked out and
Yeah.
others were, dude, I'm gonna be ready no matter what.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
definitely.
lived in New York, Z, right?
Yeah.
In 2020. Tell us about what you're doing in 2020 for yours, because you were doing literally something similar to her.
Yeah. So for the first like I wanna say 2 to 3 weeks or so, um everything was shut down. I didn't really know anything about any gyms being secretly open yet or anything like that. So I had it wasn't even the thought of prep at the time because at that point I was really supposed to be in prep for the New York Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I was like, okay, well, I don't know if that's really gonna happen, but I am a trainer in a gym. If the gyms do open back up, I'm not gonna be the one that comes back not in shape.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so I just, I found whatever I could, pick up, lift or whatnot, just around the house. Didn't want to drive myself crazy just being in the house, so I would go to the park, plyos, all that body weight stuff, bands for like about 2, 3 weeks, and then I got the call like, hey, we got a gym. It was great. Got the
Mm-hmm.
first workout in. It was dope. You couldn't take any photos, no nothing, no social media, no nothing. And of course, people would spoil it. And
Yeah.
of course, shut down. I
Yeah.
was so livid. So went right back to doing what I was doing, and then we got another call. We found another spot.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I was having to travel like almost 2 to 3 hours
Yeah.
there. But I said, well, whether this show happens or not, whether it's pushed back or not, I'm still going to get it done. And yes, COVID was hard just given, our circumstances, but in a way, I feel like it was a blessing. Just because, one, as hard as I was going in the gym to begin with beforehand, as much as I wanted to be in the gym still, I think my body needed that reset. And then once I finally got back into a gym consistently, the drive, the work ethic, everything was just amplified.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally a bodybuilder's dream of eat, train, sleep, eat, train, sleep. I've
Right.
got nothing to worry about but that.
Yeah.
And
Right.
successful season.
Man, that's I didn't.
What, what did you do?
Me and I had the luxury. We had a warehouse gym, so I was already in the gym. So it was very odd, like awesome for me because I had my whole
Mm-hmm.
warehouse gym to myself. I was able
Mm-hmm.
to work out whenever, have my kids there. I think I literally like at one time I put a pool in there because it was so hot. They can't go to the pool, so I just filled it up while we worked out, and they were in the pool. Going everywhere. It's crazy. 2020 was a tough year though for
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Rhea, you were talking about how 2020, the year of
Oh,
20,
that was my gym partner right there. My,
nights. Yeah.
yep, 2 to 3 hours a day.
Heck no. So Rhea, you were talking about how, 2020, the year of 2020, the everything that happened in Australia kind of started, the struggle of your mental health. How did that affect
Mm-hmm.
your 2021 year? Because I know we've already talked before, and
Yeah.
I know it started a little bit of self-doubt for you, but tell us a little bit about the journey that you had your whole 2021 season.
Yeah, that was I just, me as a person, I do get very sort of in a circle of self-doubt sometimes. And I think I kind of last season let that eat away at me a little bit. So especially from sort of post Olympia till up until now, it's been a journey to kind of get back to that mindset of, you know, this is what we do, this is what we love to do, this is where the passion is. Like, what's the point of fearing or doubting anything? Let's go.
Right, but that's a lot of our struggles. All of us struggle with that. You know, we look in the mirror and we look at ourselves and we think that we're fat, you know, and then the whole world is like, "Are you crazy?" You know, we all struggle with that big time because we all want to be the best, you know, and then and it's easy just to say that we're not good enough, and you know, just to put it off instead of pushing through it. But it's amazing that you did, because now look where you are now. Like your physique has drastically changed, like drastic.
Thank you.
Yes, but I see them arms in that dress. I was like, oh well, dang. Let me borrow a little bit.
So, how was your transitioning, moving here permanently?
It's been smooth because I have been back and forth, and I think especially 2020 with the Olympia, well, up until I want to say last year, if you were from like the UK or anywhere in Europe, you had to be outside of the US for 2 weeks before you could travel. So I would quarantine in Mexico for the 2020 Olympia. I was in Mexico for 2 weeks and then came over. And then because of the lockdowns at home, I was like, I'm in such a groove, especially post 2020 Olympia, which was awesome. I was like, I can't sort of go back and be stuck again. We're like on a groove. So it's been a nice transition. Texas is hot, even though I'm in a jumper.
It is.
Texas is hot.
It's hotter
than one
Florida.
thing. Yes.
So you found a gym home here, the Labrada gym, right? Yeah, it's crazy, y'all. We live in the same city, and I have not seen her yet. I'm not going to talk about that though. So how has it been over there? You know, because you look extremely happy. Like, is that facility? It's private. Like, how is it over there? The energy and everything.
I am just incredibly grateful for the opportunity to be able to train there, and it's one of those things that environment is everything. So if you've got that positive environment with positive people that are having the drive, the same goals that you do, it just makes like every training session, every time you go in there, just like, yeah, this is it, we're in it.
I love it. That is awesome. That is awesome. And everybody in there, I mean, Hunter, Liv, all of them are beasts. So you fit right in.
They're incredible, absolutely incredible.
And you get to have pups there too.
Yes. Dogs are the best.
That really is awesome.
They are, and then a lot of people don't understand the struggles that fur parents have. You know, so whenever you're preparing for a trip, both of you, what are the steps that you have to take? Because you have to be related to me to be able to keep my children, because, you know, I am not trusting anyone. And I would be the same way with my pets. So how do you, like, what services do y'all use? Like, you know, how do you, can you take them with you? Like, what's the steps of that?
So with Marv, our little dog, our good friends will take him in. He's always around them, and we trust them with him. Also, we have put him in boarding before in a place called Camp Bow Wow when we were in Tampa and Orlando, which is really cool because you can actually watch the dogs. There's an app where you can check up on your dog and stuff like that. He's like, just drop him off and go.
Back.
Right. With somebody that we, because we've had some situations. I think all of Instagram knows our situations. Hey, are off.
Like, what happens if your dog is a bully though? Like, what if Marv is over there bullying everybody, biting everybody?
No.
He just gets sectioned off? Like, how does that work?
No, he's a good boy.
See, he wants to stay home. hunting dogs and just want to roam everywhere. Oh, there's a squirrel.
Jump out. No.
Oh, man.
No, stop it.
So we have the Arnold UK in what is this? 2 weeks? A little less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
All right. How we feeling? We ready?
I'm excited. I haven't competed in the UK since I was an amateur, over 4 years.
Oh.
So it's one of those where it's like incredible that it's the Arnold UK, it's the second year that it's happening and it has figure, but also being able to compete on home soil is just going to be incredible.
Yeah, and you get to go there already with your qualification. So it's like there to represent. Like, yeah, I've been over here still repping my city, you know, like my thing. That's so awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Feeling excited.
You should be. I mean, the Sasquatch showing was a really, really good showing. You can definitely see the improvements that you made. I mean, the size from that back, the detail was.
Thank you.
Your waist came in too. Like, you're solid. Seriously, you've been working really hard. How was that prep? How was this prep for you? You know, how was it better? What made it?
Night and day. Like, as you guys know, and everybody that competes know that no two preps the same, ever. And it was kind of after the Olympia last year was the longest I've been away from stage, I believe, since I started. So like October until sort of mid-April. And it was kind of like the 2020 reset that we all kind of needed. Yeah. And it was a time where I was sort of relearning how to train again and like taking time, especially mentally after last season, and just like processing everything and being like, this is my goals. Like literally I journal daily, like jotting things down, making sure that I'm focused, clear of what I want to achieve. And I think little things like that and making sure that your mind and body are working as one can really, really make a difference.
I agree.
Agreed. Definitely.
Because if your body, if your mind is on something else and your body's not going to follow what your mind is, your body follows your mind. So they have to be connected, like you said. Who's your coach right now?
Cuba.
I'm sorry?
Cuba, Sylvester Shellen. So Meg Sylvester's husband,
How long have y'all been working together?
October until now,
Wow.
Well, you did a really good job.
Thank you. He is awesome. He is absolutely awesome.
Wow. So, thoughts on the Olympia? What are we doing going into that?
So, to be honest, we haven't really like set a complete game plan just yet. We're kind of going sort of day by day, week by week, and still kind of like on a high, like, boom, this has been one of our goals to win a show in the US. And like we've done it, so still on that high and just riding that into the Arnolds, making sure that we're going to try and come in better than we did this weekend. And then probably just take like a mini off season, let the body relax a little bit, and then we'll get that game plan ready for the Olympia.
Right. That is awesome. And another thing I want to address and just say that I really admire. If anyone knows Rhea, her training, her work ethic, this are lifts, like we're talking 400 something pounds for reps, super, super impressive.
Thank you.
How did you get that strength? Did you powerlift before, or you're just naturally strong?
Never. It was, I'll tell you, like, I think it was after the Olympia in 2019, I was like, do you know what I don't normally do? I don't normally deadlift. This is something I really want to like just try. And it was, you know how everyone has like one movement that they really love, whether it's like a leg press or like a back squat or something like that. Like mine was a deadlift. As soon as I'd done like my first one, I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. And then ever since then, like especially with it being in my programming, it's just a movement that I absolutely love.
Yeah, you have the mental mental strength for it, for one, because I feel like you need that. And like, even when you're super lean, like I said on the interview, you were 4 weeks out and you were still deadlifting 405. Like you weren't even, you were less than 4 weeks out, because I didn't even know the Sasquatch Pro. So what were you? Weeks out, peak week? Wow. I'm even more in, like, look. Wow. Crazy. Because I would have passed out.
I've only tried that Houdini like it's trying to do it at 2 weeks out now.
Oh, I would be all out? No, I couldn't do it. Definitely not. So we always like to, you know, end off with a good note. We always do everything ending with mental health and sending a message from our spotted athlete, Miss 4-time now Olympian. What is some advice or words of wisdom that you would like to give to our listeners?
This is a good one. I always want to say, like, just know that everything gets better. If you have, say, we're talking to competitors, a show doesn't go well, a placing doesn't go well, you know, a prep doesn't go well, and for some reason you've got to pull out and start again, the sun's always going to come up tomorrow. Your family is always going to be there. Your friends are always going to be there. And most importantly, the stage is always going to be there. So that's a piece of advice that I've really had to have for myself this season, of that, you know, it's not just being about as good as your last performance. You can improve. You have to take each day as it comes. And as Hunter would say, win the day.
I love
each and
that.
every day.
I love that. It's so easy to get caught up on the overall goal, you know, and then you lose sight of what's really important. Like I like you literally pay attention to each day. You really should see how accurate you can be to win each day, because it's all tiny mistakes that we're making. Like the last episode we were talking about, Z, how you said some people might change one meal from a regular meal to a protein shake and think that that's okay and still think that they're on their meal plan. But no, you're not. Now you just messed up one of your 5 meals and you're only 80% good now. So, you know, that's really good advice. Like myself, I need to focus more on the small goals and reach the small goals that'll help you get to the bigger goal.
100.
I used to have the same, you know, issue with, okay, well, I've got this many weeks and I'm just looking at the whole picture, and it took me a while to figure it out. Like, okay, no, literally take it a day at a time. It got even to the point where it was like, I'm taking it an hour at a time, or I'm taking a meal at a time. I made it to the next meal. I didn't deviate. Next one, next hour, bit by bit. Don't look at the whole overall end goal, because sometimes it's like it's overwhelming.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that. When someone's like, oh, say you start a prep at like 24 weeks out or 20 weeks out, you're like, oh my God, I've got 20 weeks to go. And yes, you're excited about the show, but you're thinking about all of those 20 weeks up until that. Take each day as it comes. Focus on training your best. If you've got cardio at the time, smashing your cardio at the time. Go meal to meal, making sure you're getting everything in.
Exactly.
Right, because if you don't, like I like the checklist thing. I like your journaling. I love that you have that, because you can see on paper what you actually need to get done. That way you can go back and check instead of looking squirrel, you know, that Snickers bar. Get your eyes back on the prize. These goals right here, and check off the checklist. I'm going to start doing that. I love.
Yeah, and just anything that like you're overthinking, putting it down on paper just makes it seem a lot smaller than what you're thinking about it in your mind.
Yes, I completely agree. It's almost like nostalgic in a sense. So I have this thing about iPad versus paper. Maybe I'm just old. I don't know. I'd rather put things down on paper.
That's me.
Me too.
I don't know. I feel like it's just complicated to have to go look back and scroll. I'd rather just up. Okay, I wrote.
Same. Electronics, like, it's too, you know, advanced, and you can easily just get distracted from what you're typing. Like, I can text and not even look, but if I'm writing down on a piece of paper, I have to focus on it. and look down at what I'm writing and make sure I'm spelling it right, you know, and it's going to make me remember what I'm saying and what I'm seeing. So it's easier to focus on the goal versus here, I'm putting in my iPad, Siri, put this reminder or whatever. You could talk to text now. Like, we're so lazy. Americans are lazy. It's just, for goals, you have to write it down.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Get that pen to paper.
On paper, they sink in. They do. Versus
Mm-hmm.
scrolling in. I mean, sometimes I'm scatterbrained a lot of the time, so I could just be on the tablet writing down whatever. Oh, let me go look at this real quick, and then
Facts.
completely forget about what I was just doing.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
And it's nice to kind of that digital detox as well.
Absolutely.
You do detoxing?
Digital detox, so like,
oh yeah,
not being on my phone as much and stuff like that.
Sometimes I honestly feel like your phone or your iPad, whatever, sometimes I feel like it can almost be like a drug, like sugar in a sense. Like, have you ever just left your phone maybe at home or something like that, and the whole day you're just like, God. But then it's like after a good amount of hours go by, you're like, this is nice.
Yeah, yes. Yes, I feel like electronics make you worry. You know, they make you feel missing out on something, or I can't miss out on the news coming out first. Like, I need to know first. Everybody needs everything yesterday and gets everything yesterday. So I suggest that too. At least, like, cut yourself off from your electronics at some point of the day, or don't start your day with your phone. You know, start it a different way. Get up, journal, pray, meditate, whatever. And see how it helps your mental health, because we all know that this sport is literally nothing but mental. It's nothing but mental. If we think that we're the part, we will become the part.
Can't agree.
Definitely.
But Rhea, we want to say thank you so much, seriously, for coming on and giving us a little Rhea Gayle history. You know, we truly admire you as an athlete. You belong in this. I know you're going to be top 5 Olympian. Thank you so much again. And you guys,
thank you for having me.
So much for tuning in. Stay tuned. We're going to have a special guest on Friday. Look for all the posts. Z was telling us about the Squeeze Me Skinny giveaway, and we're going to have a lot more announcements coming in the near future. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. And until next time, peace.
Bye.